Have you ever wondered just how far golf ball technology has come in the last 50 years? Well, I sure have. And on today's video, I'm gonna test it out because I've got a 50-year-old golf ball and I'm gonna put it right up against a modern golf ball, my favorite golf ball on the market right now, the Legato 3085. Now, why am I picking Legato balls for this test? Well, it's the ball I've been using all year, and that's for a reason. I love these balls. The price is right. In fact, during the Black Friday sales right now, you can pick up a dozen of these for $24.99. which is really, really good value for what they are. I've put them against Pro V1s. I've put them against what's been voted the best ball of the year in the Callaway Chrome Soft X, and this one performs on par with both of those much more expensive balls. And if you're watching this in early December, Legato is giving Let's Play Through followers a special discount of 10% off. So I'm gonna leave that code down below. That code will work for you over at Amazon.com. Our 50-year-old golf ball is going to be the Dunlop 65. This is a ball from the 70s, and I was able to snag a few of these on my visit over to Scotland at Spey Bay. They had a couple of these found on the course that had been buried for nearly half a century. They're still in amazing shape though, and we're gonna find out just how far balls have come since then. And then we're gonna be out here on course hitting some drives, some irons, some wedges, and some putts to see what the performance differences are and how things have changed and improved or regressed. We'll find out if they regressed in 50 years. All right, here are the two balls side by side, and as you can see, dimple patterns have really changed here in 50 years. This is much more consistent, both perpendicular and horizontally. It's almost like a checkerboard pattern in terms of the dimples, where the dimples nowadays on modern balls are a little bit more offset, and they start to form more complex patterns. Interestingly enough, the 50-year-old ball not only is marked above, which is kind of confusing because Dunlop 65 is actually the name of the ball. This is the number 8 ball, but they're also marked on the side here. Really interesting, whereas today's modern balls, you're only gonna ever see the number on top of the logo, and generally you're gonna get some more information about the ball on the side rather than just a repeat of the number. In terms of color, much more bright white here out of the Legato ball. This is more creamy, but it is 50 years old, so I imagine this one was a little whiter when it was fresh out of the box. Printing though has held up pretty well, I gotta say. That red pops on the Dunlop 65 there. But in terms of feel, much rougher feel here on the older ball, harder feel, whereas this has almost a little bit of grab to it, a little bit of stickiness. And when you tap two modern balls together, the sound is definitely a little different. When you tap the Dunlops together though, it's a little higher pitched, a little clickier. And by the way, the 50-year-old ball actually has maybe a little bit of an advantage over the modern ball. I'll unveil that for you at the end of this video, but it's a little piece of golf trivia and golf history that I had no idea existed. Let's have a little fun here. Let's cut these open and check out what's changed in 50 years on the inside. All right, so let's go ahead and cut into our Legato ball here and see what's inside. I've been using these little cutters for gardening outside, cutting some PVC pipe to fix my sprinklers, so they're a little dirty, but they do the job. As you can see here, that outer layer, that urethane layer is white. You've also now got what's in this ball, a gray ring, which is that second mantle layer. And then you got the core here, which is in white. So as you can see, this is a 3-piece modern construction of a golf ball. Let's go ahead and cut open the 50-year-old ball. One of those lines of dimples, and oh my gosh, it just exploded. I don't know if you see that on my shirt, but this ball exploded on me. A completely different construction than wow, holy crap. It's growing, it's alive. It's alive. Wow, oh my God, that is crazy. I had no idea that that was gonna happen. That's insane. This is like a round rubber band. It's like basically like I cut into a rubber band ball and it smells. That stinks. Unreal, man. That is unreal. I just made a disgusting mess in my simulator room that I'm now gonna have to clean up. But look at that, just small little pieces of fiber. This is like a paste. I literally just bought this shirt. It's all over my shirt. Where all that mud came from was this little core. So this, in some ways, I guess, is a 3-piece construction because you've got the outer rubber, you've got this kind of shredded rubber, and then inside of that, maybe even a 4-piece construction. Inside of that is this rubber core that had like a mud clay inside. So there's your side-by-side shot there. I can't even explain to you, I was not prepared for that. That's a party trick that I may have to pull out someday just to show people. That is wild. I was not expecting that. As you can see, the more modern ball has a firm, more solid center. This thing is like rubber shavings inside. So already we can see a massive difference. Now let's take them out on course, hit some shots, and see how they perform. We're gonna start off here with the driver, the big stick, and see what the difference is between these balls. I've got the GC Quad here next to me. I've also got my Garmin G80, so we can track GPS distances. Legato balls are up first here. Oh, it's a really good strike. Oh man. It's gotta be one of my best of the year. Clubhead speed was 101. My ball speed was 148. That means the smash was 145. My carry is estimated to be 242. By the way, 2,589 backspin on that one. We'll hit one more here with the Legato. And that one's gonna be probably in the rough up there. But again, hit pretty well. Clubhead speed was 100. Ball speed was 146. The smash was 146. Carried 236. Now we're switching over to the 50-year-old balls. And I gotta be honest, I'm a little scared. I don't wanna lose one, but we've gotta match swing speed and all that good stuff. Let's see how this thing flies. 50 years old, how crazy is that? Lower trajectory for sure. On the line with that second one, this one may find a bunker. Surprisingly, the feel of that ball, not as compressed feeling necessarily as the Legato, but not so bad either. I expected it to be a lot harder for a 50-year-old ball, to be honest. Clubhead speed was 102. Ball speed leaving the club was 142. That means my smash was 139, so that's down. And the estimated carry was down considerably there as well, 215. Spin was up, by the way, 2840 on that shot. Second shot here with the 50-year-old balls. Now that's a really good shot. Excellent. Very similar to the first shot with the Legato. So I think we've got a pretty good apples to apples here in terms of driver. My club head speed was 101. The ball speed was 146. Smash was 144. And my estimated carry, 236. A little less in terms of estimated carry with a similar club head speed as the Legato. But that one got up in the air really nice, and that one felt pretty good coming off the club face. If you would have blindfolded me, I don't think I would have known that was a 50-year-old ball, to be quite honest with you. I gotta say, I am really pumped to see where these things finished, because especially the first shot with Legato, second shot there with the Dunlop, I think those were hit about as apples to apples as I possibly can. And in terms of like trajectory, the angle they were on, the slight little draw that they had, those shots look so identical in the air. So let's find out where they finished. All right, we are just in front of this fairway bunker here, over in the rough. And 213's the number. That there is a Dunlop 65. Actually, 215. Isn't that exactly what the GC Quad said for carry? Amazing. Let's see where the Legato finished. 238 here is the number with the Legato. Boy, the rough is up high here today. That's a considerable difference in distance. I do think the strike was slightly better there with the Legato, I'm not gonna lie, especially if you look at the smash factor. 139, I think, is what the Dunlop was there. Definitely the Legato wins, but there's an asterisk with that one in terms of contact. But this other one's gonna be a little bit more telling for sure. Now, we are dead middle of the fairway. Like I said, those balls were on an incredibly similar path. And here's what we've got. We've got a massive difference here. There's a ball right here, and there's one way up there in the shadows if you can see it. So we'll find out what we've got here. But I kind of think I know at 252, yes indeed, that's our Dunlop 65. I would take that a lot of times, but this is going to be on another level completely. Same swing speed, similar smash factor. As I mentioned, the trajectory looked very similar to me, but that is a completely different result. That's 50 years of technology right there. 279, there's our Legato. What a drive. Wow, honestly, I kind of expected them to be a little bit more similar. I don't know why, I just did. But that is a massive difference there. 252 to 279. I think that's 27 yards if I'm doing the math there correctly. That is a massive difference. And again, both of those swings, so similar. Let's go next to an iron shot because I'd really like to see how the Dunlop performs with an iron. Is that distance penalty going to be a lot less here after 50 years? Are we gonna get more spin? Are we gonna get more check on the greens or less? Let's find out. All right, par 3 here. Getting out the rangefinder, let's see what we've got. 157, that should be a really nice 8-iron for me. Again, I wanna test feel, I wanna test distance, I wanna test spin, stopping power, all that good stuff. Let's see what happens. All right, let's switch things up here this time. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the Dunlops first. Again, 8-iron in hand. There's a bunker I've got to carry. This should be the perfect club 157 for me. I might have caught that a little thin, but it's right up there in the middle of the green. Club head speed 81, ball speed was 108, carry 144, spin 76.60. Like I said, I did catch that one maybe just a touch thin. So let's see if we can make a little bit better contact here on shot 2. Pretty good shot again, I think. Club head speed 81, ball speed 103, carried 136, spin there again 79.84. We're switching now to the legatos. Good strike there. Looks like a real good shot. That one hit the green as well. Club head speed was 81.7. Ball speed was 108, carried 147, so it looks like about 10 yards more there. And the spin is down 61.99. That is, of course, what I'm used to with my club and ball combination normally. But about, what, 1,000 RPM different than those Dunlops. The game has changed. The game of golf has changed considerably. Another good strike there. That one hit the middle of the green, looks like. Again, club head speed 80.9, so we'll call it 81. Ball speed was 111, carried 152, spin 62.20. Let's go see where they finished. I will say again, I continue to be surprised on how soft feeling these Dunlops are. Again, I really expected a 50-year-old ball to feel like a rock, and it's not bad at all. Doesn't feel, again, quite as good, and I think we can feel that this is not a 3-piece construction. Until you hit thousands and thousands of golf balls, it's hard for me to really explain to you exactly how I can feel it's a 3-piece, but there's a firmness, then a softness, then another firmness. That all happens in milliseconds, and literally I can tell that there is a little bit of a different construction going on in a golf ball, and it's really evident right here. Now in terms of results, that's a whole nother story. All right, well, we've got 2 and 2 here. We've got 2 that are just a little short, 2 that are side by side up there on the green, just a little bit past the pin. Let's find out what we've got. Now this, guys, this I did not expect. This I kind of expected, especially after the first hole. But this I didn't expect so much. Side by side here, Legato and Dunlop. That's wild, which means these 2 balls up here are gonna be side by side as well. How about that? Now let's take a look at the pitch marks, because this is also gonna tell us an important story. Here's one pitch mark, and this is gonna be related to this ball right here. This is gonna be the Dunlop. So considerable amount of roll there. Whereas this is my little pitch mark right here for the Legato, and as you can see, I got a lot more spin and a lot more check out of that one. So overall, only about a 2-foot distance, right? But of course, with that extra spin, that extra checkup out of the Legato, we've got a better putt at this one, a little closer for birdie. But I gotta say, this Dunlop 65 did very, very well. Much better than I could ever have expected. One thing I can say for sure is that the modern balls are considerably better when it comes to durability. With my Legatos, I get through an 18-hole round, no problem at all. Sometimes I'll use a ball for 27 holes and they don't mark up too poorly. Whereas older balls, especially something like this, those balls marked up very quick, the balls of old. And that's been a major improvement with the urethane balls that we've got nowadays. Let's go to a little bit of a shorter shot now. I'm gonna take a 58-degree wedge shot from about 75 yards. I'm gonna set the camera up behind the hole and we'll see again how these balls react when they hit the green and what's the difference between a 50-year-old ball and a modern ball when it comes to checking up. All right, so 58-degree wedge in hand. I'm gonna start us off here with a legato. On a good line. You probably saw there, it hit, kind of checked on the second bounce, and then slowly rolled out. Let's see what happens here with the Dunlop. Oh, that was a good shot. That one's continuing to roll out on me. It's still rolling, actually. And now it just came to a stop, probably off camera for you. Legato number 2 here. That's a good line. Let's see if we get the check we want here with that one. Yes, that thing really wants to stop quickly. Another Dunlop here. Again, just not getting that stopping power. It's still rolling off towards the back on me. Legato again. A little right of target on that one. Let's see what we do to stop it though. Again, it kind of takes one bounce and then wants to check on that second bounce. All right, another Dunlop here. It's on a good line. I'm gonna try to land this a little short because I know this thing's gonna roll out a bit. And yeah, it's just really hard to stop them. Last legato here. It's coming in pretty good, just a little right at target. And yes, comes to a much quicker stop there. Last Dunlop here. Good strike. Put as much spin as I could on that one. That one's still rolling out. Okay, so here past the green are a couple balls that actually came off camera. And both of them, of course, are Dunlops. Just really hard to get spin on this one. And over here, we got a lot of legatos with a couple of Dunlops that I landed short and still rolled out considerably. But of course, the 2 closest shots, by the way, are gonna be legatos. These are, well, this one's probably 15 feet and this one over here is probably 18 feet. So yeah, very clear to me that there is a considerable difference in stopping power between a modern ball and a 50-year-old ball. And maybe of all the tests so far here today, of course, distance test with the driver was pretty telling, but this one, I think even more so, that modern balls like this legato have come a long way. And I've got a lot of pitch marks I gotta fix. But I'm gonna fix every one of them. Now the last thing I wanna test, and it probably isn't gonna make much of a difference, at least that's what I think is gonna happen, but I have been surprised here today. I'm gonna do a little putting test here, and we're gonna see, is there any difference in terms of putting coming off the club face, rolling straight, rolling true? Let's find out if a modern ball has improved. One thing I will say is very obvious with modern balls, and this legato might be the most exemplary of them all, is folks probably around the late 90s started marking their ball with a little line to line up their putt so it would roll true. Then ball manufacturers caught on to what everyone was doing and they started creating their own little alignment lines, either with words like the Pro V did, or with this nice bold track that my legato has. I absolutely love that. That is something you never got with the old balls. So that is one difference, but let's see how they feel and how they putt, if there's any difference there. First up here is gonna be the legato here with the bold track. All right, nice roll, good speed. And since there is no alignment, I'm not gonna draw a line on this ball, I'm simply going to line it up on the logo here. Felt good. Boy, it's a fast putt. That one rolled down a little bit. Let's go legato again. Couldn't really feel much difference there, I don't think. Audibly, I can tell the difference. There's more of a thud with the legato and more of a, like a click. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it, a click with the Dunlop. Yep, much more clicky. For some reason, I keep wanting that putt to break to the left and it keeps breaking to the right on me. Maybe I'll get smart. I don't think I can tell much of a difference either. That one's in. I finally got smart. Finally got smart. Let's see if we can end strong here with the Dunlop. That one looks really wobbly for some reason. Well, one putt made there with a legato. All in all though, really not a whole lot difference between a 50-year-old golf ball and a modern golf ball when it comes to putting. All right, now I said in the beginning of this video that there was a little piece of trivia in golf history and maybe a reason why this Dunlop 65 could have a little bit of an advantage, although I think we proved it didn't really come into play here today. But balls of old, especially balls in the UK, were actually a smaller size. And if you recall, this ball came from the UK, it came from Scotland over at our friends at Spey Bay. Now, if you're just to look at one single ball like this Dunlop by itself, you probably wouldn't tell the difference, but it's much more obvious when you put these two balls up side by side. And to go a little step further, I took out my calipers just to see the difference in the size of these balls. So the USGA states that modern golf balls that are in play right now, must be 1.68 inches in diameter at the least. By the way, that's 42.67 millimeters as you see here on the calipers. But what we'll see here is that these old golf balls were considerably smaller than our modern balls. Look at that, 40.72 millimeters. That's a big difference. So yeah, a much smaller ball here than the modern ball. So I actually thought this one might have an advantage, but as we saw out on course, it didn't prove to be that way. Things have certainly changed in the last 50 years. What a difference a half a decade makes. That was such a cool test. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm gonna leave a link down below to that sale Legato's having on their balls right now, and I'll catch you back here next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.